Hey, Fantasy Flavor listeners, viewers, welcome back here to another episode. Super excited to be here with Trent and Sanan. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about kind of the people that were franchise tagged or transition tagged, kind of talking about their future value, their current value. I think the biggest name is Derrick Henry. He was franchise tagged, so I kind of have two questions with this for you guys. One, do you think a long-term deal's worked out and they're going to stay in that respective team? And two, what's their value looking like this year? So let's start off with you, Trent.
Yeah, Derrick Henry, we all saw last year his absolute dominance. And I think he carries over. I don't think he's. We always see running backs come in that are kind of similar to that and like dominate on the ground to get a ton of volume and then fade away after a few years. So I'm scared that after a few years, he'll start to fade. But you still have, I think, 2 really good years from him until his legs start to fall off. I don't know. At this rate, the amount they're running him, they're going to fall off.
Okay, but do you think he stays in Tennessee? Do you think they get a long term deal done? Or do you think they let him walk
I
after
think
the franchise tag?
I think he does stay because when you think of the Tennessee offense, that is the name you think of. He is when people are going to he'll stay straight pretty much for the one reason and one reason only. He's going to sell tickets. Because people want to remember the good old days where it was just hand the ball off, have the running back run over everybody, and that's just ground and pound everything. And all the older folks want to relive that, and Derrick Henry is giving them that opportunity, unlike anybody else. So I
Yeah.
think he's going to stay with them just because if for no other reasons, just for so they could sell more tickets.
I kind of agree and disagree. I think his production will be similar this season, especially towards the Derrick Henry always gets hotter as the year kind of ends quickly, so he may be kind of like a buy low mid season. But Dion Lewis is gone, which could give him more receptions if they don't draft somebody. We don't know if they're going to draft somebody, potentially maybe like a Keyshawn Vaughn out of Vanderbilt, but just something to watch. But I do think they let him go because I feel like if they wanted to sign him to a long term deal, they'd do it now. That way they wouldn't have like an extra year at the end because we just saw Gurley get released today. We saw David Johnson get traded. Both contracts look bad. We are already hearing that the Z contract's kind of bad. His production was kind of it was good, but it wasn't worth like the 10, 13, 15 mil or whatever he's making. So I think they let him walk after the season. That's kind of my bold take. And then maybe they grab someone early this year or in this 2020 loaded RB class or maybe next season. So that's kind of what to say about Derrick Henry. How about you, Sanan?
Yeah, I think the NFL draft will tell what they are going to do with Derrick Henry. If they don't draft a running back like Jonathan Taylor or someone else, I think they keep him. They will give him a long term contract, and he will be there. Or it can, if it drags on, then there is a chance of holdout too. Who knows? But I think he stays unless they grab a very good running back in the draft. And I think he has. Again, I agree with you on that you can buy him mid-season because he'll start slow and then they will keep him fresh for the later half.
Okay, well said.
That's all.
Moving on here with Kenyan Drake, he got transition tagged, so I believe he can still be signed by another team. I don't think he's signed any deal yet, but I don't know if that lasts for 1 year. I'm not an expert on cap and tags and all, but I do know that means um, another team would have to like pay them a draft pick. So
No.
or no, they get to match it. So if I'm like the
Yeah.
Lions or the Redskins or I don't know like Chargers, whatever team, I don't know whoever would sign Buccaneers, they get a chance to match that offer. So I don't know if no one matches that offer if it's like just like another 1 year thing. I don't exactly know that part, but I think Kenyon Drake will stay a Cardinal for at least this season and potentially even more.
So I think this was smart from the Cardinals because they don't know how much they want to give to Kenyan Drake. So they are like, okay, let the market decide what your value should be, and when it comes to us, we'll just match it. And I'm pretty damn sure that they are going to match whatever he gets. So that's they don't want to be like you see how we do in fantasy, right? We ask you to give and send an offer, and then we will move from there. So that's the thing here. They just don't want to be look stupid and overpay and then see that there is no market for the running backs, which is happening right now. Gordon is not getting what he wants. So what if some team comes to Drake and gives him 5 million per year, and that's the maximum contract he gets, and then Cardinals will just match it. Otherwise, if they start negotiating with him, they might have to pay like 7 or 8. Understand what I'm saying? I
Yeah,
feel Drake will be there for another 2-3 years at least.
yeah, I definitely get where you're coming from, 100%. Right now, Kenyan Drake for me is around that RB 15 ish range, kind of that high end, mid end RB2 in Dynasty. And I'm just curious how long the deal is going to be for and how much guaranteed money. Because if it's not much guaranteed money, if it's not that long, he could move teams again. And then we don't know because Arizona's such a great fit for him. But for now, obviously, he's going to be kicking butt there in Arizona. We think
Uh-huh.
with D Hop there too. So overall,
My God.
I like him especially in redraft because we don't have to worry about the long term concerns. But Kenyon Drake, he really showed out last season. So what do you kind of think about it, Trent? I know you're the biggest Kenyon Drake truther there is on this planet. I already know what you're going to kind of say, but let's hear it.
He's a very talented back. I mean, was stupidly underutilized in Miami, and now that he's in a very good scheme for his game, he's absolutely dominating. And with a young quarterback to grow with, as well as them adding DeAndre Hopkins, I think to spread out the defense, so that because let's be honest, last year it was Larry Fitzgerald and Christian Kirk. Kirk was fine, but he wasn't quite that wide receiver one for them. And Larry Fitzgerald was aging and not quite what he used to be, so they didn't really have to worry about any absolutely dominant wide receivers. Now Kyler Murray has a dominant wide receiver, and they have to respect that. So defenses are going to be less stacking the box, and I think his value is even better than it was late last year. And I think he, like you said, he's a high end RB2.
Yeah, that's the range I put him. I feel like we all kind of like Drake this year, even though the
And
opposite of last year for us. But yeah,
and while we are at it, please go and buy Chase Edmonds. Please, please, please.
by who?
Chase Edmonds.
Chase Edmonds. Yeah, I really like Chase Edmonds. I think it may be a little bit more of a committee than we think, but Drake can still eat. So I just think we should move on here to Dak. Dak's really interesting. Just before we even start talking about Dak, I'm kind of curious. Yes or no? I just want a yes or no. Does he resign or does he sign a long-term contract with Dallas?
Yes.
You both think yes. I actually think I kind of give him the Kirk Cousins treatment. So I'm really interested to see if he's going to walk. But I kind of think yes too because who's going to be better that they can get? So I don't know. I feel like we shouldn't really talk about him much if we all kind of agree he's probably going to end up back in Dallas. I'm definitely the least confident. Like I said, I'm feeling shades of Kirk Cousins, but everyone in that offense kind of just goes up there with Dak. Do we have anything else to say about him?
I think it stays the same. And McCarthy also throws a lot. So I think it stays the same. Everything stays the same.
Yeah, I think so too. That's kind of all we need to say for him. Definitely one of the more elite fantasy QBs out there. Definitely in the top 10 fantasy QBs. Super flex gold. Hunter Henry, really interesting here. Tyrod Taylor's currently the quarterback. I don't know if they're going to grab a Tua, a Herbert. It's pretty obvious if they're going to draft somebody here, but Tyrod Taylor is the current quarterback here for Hunter Henry. What are your thoughts on Hunter Henry? Where does he rank for you guys, and what do you kind of feel about this situation?
I think his stock gets a little hit if Rivers is not there. Yeah, that's all I have to say. I mean, he is still very good tight end, and maybe in the future years he will be even better. But this year his stock will go a little bit down. And if I want to buy Henry, I'll just wait.
Yeah, I mean, Tyrod Taylor did give Charles Clay like 80 plus targets a season. So I definitely think Tyrod Taylor does like his tight ends. It'll be interesting to watch though. I definitely get it because Rivers is a huge upgrade from Tyrod, and until we know who the rookie quarterback's going to be, I don't have really anything else to say about Hunter Henry.
It's a question to you, Dylan. Who was the wide receiver there in Buffalo when Tyrod Taylor was throwing to Charles Clay?
Sammy Watkins, the goat.
He was injured at that time. So yeah, there was no one. And
That's
here he
true.
has Keenan Allen, one of the best wide receivers
Mhm.
in NFL.
Yeah, but is it
And
possible he
also
just likes
Mike,
his tight ends? Is that even like
I,
possible?
Come
I think
on,
it's
it's
very
Ty
possible.
God we're talking about.
right.
Exactly, Ty God. Trenton, what do you think about,
Yeah.
Tyrod Taylor, the Chargers,
Uh,
specifically Hunter Henry's value?
Yeah.
I think Hunter Henry's value was number one. But number two, I think his value drops a little bit, obviously. I mean, Tyrod Taylor isn't Philip Rivers, nowhere near. But I think that I don't know, it's tough. They're going to bring in a rookie quarterback, and if that rookie quarterback starts early and often for them, then Hunter Henry's value is going to skyrocket because those rookie quarterbacks love targeting tight ends. Every single rookie quarterback leans on their tight ends to help them throughout the year and get adjusted. So I think his value depends on the draft.
I think I feel like that's really well said because his value could go down now with Tyrod, but let's say I love Tua. I'm the biggest Tua truther out there. If they grab Tua, I mean, obviously Hunter Henry's going to go up for me. I think that's going to be elite quarterback in the NFL in general, in fantasy, especially with his legs and his mobility. But even Justin Herbert, who could be another option there, he targeted his tight ends a ton at Oregon. So I definitely feel like his stock could go down now, but once they draft a rookie quarterback and we come back to it, Hunter Henry's stock could go back up. So that's kind of all I have to say about Double H. Let's move on here to AJ Green, stuck in Bengals hell. Oh
Yeah.
gosh. Do we think he cracks 1,000 yards this season? That was something we talked about earlier in the podcast episode. Kind of curious what you guys have to say about that.
Yes.
I don't think so.
Correct answer is no. But
Correct answer is yes.
Joe Burrow
Because
will not. Oh god, let's
Joe
hear it.
Burrow, Joe Burrow, remember what he said to the Cincinnati Bengals. I want to come there if you have AJ Green. He wants AJ Green there. He's going to target AJ Green a ton. And so that volume will be there. AJ Green is still a very talented receiver. And like Hunter Henry, depending on his health, he will definitely have a good year.
Rookie quarterbacks don't throw for so many yards, man. There are a lot of receivers there to, that's a small pie and a lot of people to eat.
Yeah, Joe
I
Mixon,
doubt,
Tyler
and then
Boyd.
he also has injury concerns. So yeah,
He
I
wanted
don't.
AJ Green. He didn't say anybody else. He wants AJ Green there. That was the one name he keeps saying, AJ Green, AJ Green.
Of course,
He's
he is the
going to
one
have
name.
AJ Green.
When you have AJ Green on the roster, why would you say anyone else's name? Like it
He's
would be
going to
huge
have
disrespect if I
AJ Green.
say Calvin Ridley. I want Calvin Ridley when there is Julio in the team.
Just like I don't like. Of course,
It
you're
will
gonna
be
say
just
AJ
dumb.
Green. AJ Green's the
Yeah.
best talent, but it doesn't matter when you can't stay on the field. You're 31, 32, and
Yeah.
you're declining. Like I don't know. AJ Green's still a sell from, and like in the 10th
I mean,
round, it could be a nice flyer as a contender, but I just don't see it.
his long-term value in Dynasty really isn't as high because he is getting older. But if you're looking for a receiver that's going to come in this year and help you compete, he's your guy this year.
Okay,
I think so.
okay, I like it. But with that being said, all the time we have here, I believe I covered all 5 names. Yes, I did. Thank you guys so much for listening to kind of the franchise tag, transition tag, kind of free agency reaction here. Crazy off season. Thank you guys so much for listening. Have a great rest of your day.